My name is Brian Osowski. I'm the marketing director for the Lee County Visitor and Convention Bureau. Thanks to all of you for coming out today to hear all about our 2019-2020 cooperative advertising programs. Several months of hard work went into this plan. We have members of our MMGY agency team here today. Members of our VCB marketing team are here today. I'll introduce them to you here in a minute. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised, excited about some of the shifts in our strategy that we've made going into next fiscal year. We have an hour and a half scheduled for this. We have a lot of information to share with you. So I want to encourage you to take notes where you want to take notes, but do know that this entire deck will be uploaded to leevcb.com today, later today. So you don't need to pull out your phones and take pictures of every opportunity you're interested in. You don't need to write really, really fast and wonder why that slide went by so quickly. We're going to spend more time in the areas we think we need to spend more time and less time in some of the others. We will also pause throughout the presentation today for you guys to ask any questions that you might have. So it's a lot of information, but a lot of good information. So how the day will go today, between now and noon, we'll be rolling out our co-op program. We'll have an hour and a half break for lunch, and then at 1:30 this afternoon, we'll roll right into our social media boot camp that should last a few hours. If you have stuff here, you want to leave your stuff here while you go downtown for lunch, anything like that, it'll be safe and secure in this room. Bathrooms are right out the door to the left or across the far side of the lobby. We have coffee, fruit, some donuts, danishes. Please help yourself to anything on the snacks table that you'd like. Real quickly before we get started, members of my team over the VCB, we've got Leslie Ann Thompson, Marketing Manager, Josh Lambert, Marketing Coordinator, Courtney Hersel, Content Marketing Manager. We have Aaron, we have Joan, we have Stephanie and Jill from Sales, who you'll hear about today, Pam Brown, Aaron Junkin. We have a whole room of VCBers. Jeff Milkey is from Sports here, hiding back here somewhere. I thought I saw him. And Tam Pygott, our director, was here.
Right there.
Is here. There she is. Tam. She's behind the column there. So without further ado, because we do have a lot of information to share with you, I'd like to introduce Elizabeth Escribano first. She's a senior account executive. Her office is actually right here across the street from ours in Fort Myers. A lot of you probably know Elizabeth. She's also in charge of our co-op advertising program. Elizabeth will introduce other members of the MMGY team. Elizabeth.
Thank you, Ryan. So thank you very much for joining us today, guys, as we launch our fiscal year 1920 co-op program. I do have an office right across the street from the VCB, so I'm with them a bunch. I do work for MMGY, but I live and work in Fort Myers. Mackenzie Davidson here, she is our expert in all social, so she is our Associate Director of Social Media. She'll be going through our social co-ops, and she'll also be leading the boot camp later today. And then Alana Patton, she's our VP of Media. She's been on the Lee County account since you guys started working with MMGY. So in addition to a wealth of knowledge about the industry, she's also very well acquainted with Lee County. And she's going to go through media programs that we have going up. So a lot of new exciting changes for next Try this guy. I just put this one on. Can you tell me if it's feedback? Okay, thank you. So we do have a lot of exciting changes, so we're going to do a deep dive into the destination strategy and then kind of go over how co-op fits into that.
I think you're in stereo.
I think I'm good. Can you guys hear me? Okay, there we go. So getting right into it, we have about 200 programs on offer for next fiscal year. This is a little bit of a decrease from previous years, and that's because TripAdvisor has changed up their product this year. They no longer offer a place on their destination pages where we can add in text links. Offer that fiscal year, and that's going to account for the vast majority of the decrease of programs. But we are going to across all channels, traditional, digital. Thank you. Social, VCB email, travel trade, international, and of course our website featured listings. I always like to point out that the majority of these programs are usually about 1 to 2% of the rate card price and 2 to 3% of the VCB's negotiated costs. So for example, a Midwest Living placement may cost $55,000. The partner buy-in is about $1,200. That's right around 2% of the actual total cost that the VCB's paying. And then of course you can run in campaigns that may be cost prohibitive for you because of high profile vendors that have very high minimum investments. You're able to participate in conjunction with the VCB. So just very briefly, we'll go over the flow of today's launch. We'll briefly go into our fiscal year 18-19 successes. We'll get into the media landscape. Again, we'll take that deep dive into the destination strategy and supply some brand insights. We'll summarize some program benefits, of course, before we dive into each of the channels, and then we'll just do a little housekeeping with reporting, assets, timing, and next steps. So with that, I'll hand it over to Alana.
Good morning. Can everyone hear me okay? Like we're going to have the mic issues. So as we talk about 2019, 2020, we like to do a little recap of where we've been, kind of the landscape of where... Hello? I'm just louder. Let's get a little bit louder now. So when we talk about 2018, 19, we want to talk a little bit about where we've been from a brand. So when I mention brand, that refers to the destination at large, what the VCB is doing in terms of advertising, and then the co-op campaigns also. So from a co-op perspective, very excited to report on the volume of impressions, the volume of media that we've been able to deliver on your behalf. We've been able to increase that volume 28% year over year. It's a really exciting increase from our perspective. It means that we're able to negotiate rates at a lower level, being able to deliver a higher volume of impressions. And that's also resulting in a higher level of click-throughs and a higher level of just engagement on your sites. Our click-through rate that we were able to deliver this year through June, all of these numbers will be through June, just as a quick asterisk, it was a 0.24%. Compare that to the industry benchmark of 0.03%, and you see a very large increase and a very exciting success metric from our perspective. The brand as well, the destination advertising, has seen great success as well in terms of the overall volume of impressions we're able to deliver, up 11% year over year, and inquiries are up 38% year over year. So all in all, the level of the volume of advertising we're putting out into to reach consumers is higher year over year, and we're seeing greater success as well. So when we talk about the media landscape, we like to really base all of our recommendations and all of our campaigns and what are consumers doing? How are they engaging with media? How are they interacting with different mediums like TV and digital? How are they spending their time with video? Things like that. So we like to understand what channels consumers are engaging with. This breakout just gives us a good view of what types of media consumers are engaging with. Digital is very high. You'll see that compared to the other platforms. You'll also see digital is rising year over year. So when we look at the red line, that's 2011, compared to the gray line, 2019, we'll see that digital continues to increase and other channels are going down. Doesn't mean that we don't see great value in those other channels. It just means that digital is on the rise, and we want to make sure that all of our campaigns are placed where consumers are actually engaging with media. When we break down digital, digital can mean a lot of different things. It can be your cell phone, it can be your laptop, it can be your other mobile devices, perhaps other connected devices. We know that mobile is the place where consumers are spending most of their time in the digital space, so we want to make sure that we're placing our ads where consumers are engaging with media. We also know that consumers are not just using one device at a time. We know that consumers are perhaps watching TV and they're also on their phones. Just think about how you yourself or your family members engage with different types of media in your personal time or even in your day-to-day business as well. So consumers as a whole, they want a lot. They want a lot from their experiences. They have very little time, and we know that we have to take that in consideration every time we're putting out a recommendation and trying to reach them. Consumers at large, as I mentioned, they are engaging with different types of media simultaneously. That could be watching TV in the evening and also being on your mobile device. It could also be, more time spent with mobile devices just individually or, while they're on the go. We also know that consumers at large are, excuse me, sorry. We know that consumers at large are using multiple devices whenever they're making purchase decisions. So they're perhaps starting a search on their mobile phone and then actually making a conversion on their desktop device. When we look at, thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. When we look at how consumers are engaging with different types of media, video is one of the biggest players in the space, and it's a really great place for us as a brand, as a destination, to put out advertising in a way that's a very large format and a way that's going to show the great beauty and all the attributes of our destination as a whole. So we really want to make sure that everything that we're doing in the video space is very focused on targeted placements where consumers are spending their time. One of the biggest things that we talk about, and we spend a lot of time talking to the VCB staff about, is television and how consumers are engaging with video content. We know that video is a space that's evolving every single day. Every day almost I get a new type of vendor reaching out to me with a different type of proposal, a different type of technology. And we know that one of the biggest factors that's driving that, is how consumers are engaging with television. Linear television especially, so you think about your cable subscription, your local stations, your local ABC station, your local CBS station, for example. You think of all of those different types of television that people are engaging with, and it's changing. You don't necessarily have to have a cable subscription to consume television content now. So one of the biggest things that's changed in the space is consumers are now cutting the cord, cutting that cable cord, and really making a shift in how they're consuming their video content. We know that consumers as a whole are looking more toward platforms like Hulu and Netflix and different sources like that to consume their content. This shift has really made a lot of impact in how we're buying our media as well. We want to make sure that we're buying our media in a way that really lines up with, how consumers are engaging with their content. One of the other biggest shifts that we've seen in the media landscape space is the audio space. Consumers are very focused on engaging with audio, so platforms like Pandora and Spotify and podcasts as well. Audio is a really strong place for us to place our brand destination messages in. Consumers are looking to audio every single day as part of their different daily life experiences. They're having audio on in the morning, they have it on throughout the day at work, they have it on at the evening time as well. So we want to make sure that audio is part of all of our recommendations as well. Native media is one that we've had as part of our recommendations for years, as part of our campaigns that even you guys have participated in as well. Native really just means that we're placing our ads within the context of a website. We're placing our ads in a way that's very native to the look and feel of how a site is displayed. And we want to make sure that we're aligning all of our content with this native experience that consumers are more likely to engage with. Consumers as well, as they are becoming more used to how digital media works, they're used to being targeted in a very specific way. They're used to when they go online and shop for a pair of shoes, for example. They're used to those shoes being served up to them in advertisements as they then navigate throughout the internet. So they're becoming used to a very customized personal experience, and they're not just expecting that in the retail space anymore, they're expecting it everywhere. They're expecting when they shop for a hotel even, that the hotel is going to target them with an offer that's very specific to what they've searched for and what they're trying to secure. So that personalization is a really important thing for us when we think about the landscape, and when we think about how we deploy our media ads, we think about how we want to place our campaigns and target and become very efficient in all of our advertising. We want to make sure that we're targeting people based on the actions that they've taken online and based on how they're shopping, what they're looking for, and what they individually want out of their shopping experiences. One of the other big players that is really impacting the media landscape right now is social media. Mackenzie will talk about social media a lot this afternoon in the boot camp. But we know that travelers are spending a ton of time on social media, and we want to make sure that we are incorporating social media in all of our paid campaigns consistently. Social media is a huge player in the space, and it's one where we can be very targeted in all of our campaigns as well. Social media especially is a great place to reach millennials. Millennials are, a target that is potentially a little bit newer for us. It's a great way for us to reach a new audience and get new people to the destination, people who have never been here before. So really expanding that reach that we would have beyond, people who have come year after year, people who have come with their families before. So it's a great way for us to pick up new travelers to the destination. Mackenzie will talk about this a lot later, but we see a lot of value in the social networks and how we're targeting people and engaging with them and ultimately getting them to convert and visit the destination. So all of those stats were more so related to consumer media. When we think about travel trade media, we're really focusing on meeting planners and travel agents. The trends are similar from a travel trade perspective in terms of how consumers, in this case, that consumer would be a meeting planner, the types of actions they're taking and what they're expecting in their day-to-day experiences when they're engaging with media. But a couple of the unique factors about meeting planners is the types of devices that they like to engage with. 98% of meeting planners are primarily using their desktop or laptop as they're searching for hotels, venues, destinations, etc. But 54% are now using mobile devices as well. So these numbers we see continue to shift, and we can continue to see them really shift a little bit more toward this mobile side. So it's very important to remember when we're developing our strategies and where we're placing our media, what types of devices different audiences are using. So for example, a consumer who's planning their personal vacation versus a meeting planner who's looking for a lot more detail on the specific venues and hotels. Another key stat about meeting planners, LinkedIn and Facebook are two huge platforms in which we can reach meeting planners. 60% use LinkedIn as a way to search for different destinations, venues, hotels, etc. And so we see a lot of value in LinkedIn, especially because it's a place where we can target by job title, and that job title is self-defined. You are, setting up your LinkedIn profile, and you are saying you are a meeting planner or a corporate planner of some sort. All of those self-identified titles are really helpful to us when we're targeting our media campaigns and making our creative recommendations as well. So we want to make sure that we're having placements on Facebook, having placements on LinkedIn, and reaching those planners where we know they're engaging with media. So all of these things are they're great stats, and they're great on a slide, and I think that they look nice up here on this big screen. But those are really things that we keep in mind when we put together the destination strategy. So things that we think about when we talk about how do we invest our tax dollars to make the biggest investment and get the most amount of visitors back to our destination. So we take all of those different factors into account whenever we're building out our recommendations, building out our messaging, our creative. And a couple of the biggest things that we think about when we're building out those strategies is we think about when consumers are engaging with media. So we think about that individual's shopping and booking habits. So, you think you're going to take a vacation in the winter. Let's say you're taking a vacation in early December. We're trying to get someone down here in December. That person is going to book their trip probably about 2 months out, and we have some more fun stats here on the next slide, but you're booking your trip about 2 months out from that early December vacation period. So that puts us into early October, but you're actually starting to think about that vacation. You're starting to think about where you want to go even a month or so prior to that. So we want to make sure that all of our advertising is flighted at the right time to reach that person when they are just starting to think about, hey, let's take a vacation, and then when they're actually going online or making that call to make the reservation, to book those plane tickets, to make that hotel reservation, to book their attraction activities as well. So we want to make sure that everything that we're outputting in terms of media placements by the destination, your placements as well, are targeted and flighted to reach consumers at that right time, to hit them at that right moment when they're searching for inspiration. Where do I want to go? What hotel do I want to stay at? So we spend a lot of time working through flighting with the VCB team on what types of media should be flighted first and when exactly they should run to impact travel and drive visitors during a specific window. So you'll see a few little shifts in this as we get into the fiscal year recommendations and places that you guys can be part of our bigger campaigns. But we've outlined it on every recommendation, and it'll also be on the portal as well in terms of the flighting. So there will be some shifts there, and we can always talk through those questions you might have as well. The biggest piece is making sure that we're flighting those big high impact placements like video or out of home or print at a time when a consumer is really looking for inspiration. So those big kind of sexy pictures of the destination, the big beach shots, the big very attractive shots like that, they're inspiring that first awareness, that first consideration, and then we move digital placements a little bit farther down once that interest has been sparked. So we can get very tactical at that point, start showing a message, an offer perhaps, and ultimately drive that conversion. So really the biggest piece that you'll hear us talk about as well, in addition to the flighting, is the marketing funnel. I get really excited about the marketing funnel. My team makes endless fun of me. But we'll go through that in a little bit of detail. I'll spare you the pain of most of it. But the marketing funnel is really just, sparking, awareness and consideration, and then ultimately driving conversion. You'll see all of the recommendations include a marketing funnel description as well, so that can really just help you as you're thinking about what type of message you want to output in your campaigns. It'll help you to understand what type of message it should be. Should it be a specific tactical offer, or should it be something a little bit, kind of more broad, a little bit, not quite a price point, a little bit something different. So when we talk about the funnel, it's the first of four. And we'll go through them quickly. But the first thing we like to talk about when we look at the marketing funnel, and this I think can get overly complicated, and it's a lot of words on a screen, even a large screen. But when we look at the role of each phase of the marketing funnel, that upper funnel is prospecting. And what we're really trying to do here is drive new visitors. So when we think especially about the large volume of inventory that's about to come into the market, we want to drive new people to the destination. We need to get new visitors, not just repeat visitors. We need new visitors to that destination. So going out and trying to find new people, maybe people who are visiting other destinations or people who haven't even considered us but look like people who are already visiting and vacationing with us, making sure that we are reaching those new visitors. We move into that mid-funnel. It's called the intent funnel. And at this phase, consumers are exhibiting some sort of behavior, some sort of search behavior, or some sort of action that they're taking that says to us, from a marketing, from a targeting perspective, I am interested in a vacation. I am interested in, a Lee County vacation, or maybe a vacation to a competing beach. At that point, we are able to align with that consumer intent and target them accordingly. So at that point, it could either be like our selling points, or it could be like, hey, this is what we have to offer that you can't find at our competing destination. Lower funnel tactics are conversion tactics, and at this point we really just want to drive that booking. We want to get that person booked in our hotels. We want them to book that flight. We want them here and in our destination. So when we talk a little bit about each of the specific roles and how the media campaigns line up, prospecting media, again, this is really just driving awareness and consideration for new visitors, trying to reach new customers. The types of media that we will be running in this level of campaign, the first one is addressable media. Addressable, I think, is an overly complicated word sometimes, but what it really just means is running one-to-one media. So it means Elizabeth has shown some sort of intent, or we think she is a great prospect, and we're going to message directly to Elizabeth. It means that we are not just, mass delivering media. It means we are targeting people on a very one-to-one level. This would also be where we're looking at our print packages. We'll talk a little bit in more detail about some evolution on the print side at large that the brand is tackling for the coming year, and how we'll look to layer in co-op placements as well. But print is still a really valuable place for us. We just look to extend those print packages to publishers' digital sisters as well. Digital TV, again, video, large format placements for our brand messaging out of home as well. Very important places for us to try to drive new site traffic and new engagers. When we look at intent media, where we're, again, with this level of media, we're trying to, to align with some sort of intent signal that a consumer has displayed. So in this case, we would run a lot of, start running a lot of display banners, a lot of video, native placements, explaining a lot of our attributes, our values. Travel sites start becoming very important here as well. Travel sites like TripAdvisor, OTAs like Expedia, Travelocity, Orbit, places where consumers are going to search for and book travel. Paid search and paid social become very important in this middle phase as well. Again, Mackenzie will talk a lot later about paid social, but paid search and paid social are really important here in terms of aligning with exact intent that consumers are expressing. And all of these tactics are really just aimed at driving traffic to the site, newsletter signups, things like that, engagement with our brand messaging. And then when we think about that bottom funnel, again, at this point, we're really just looking for consumers to convert and so to make that final booking. The types of placements that we're running here, again, display banners. This is a really great place where we see a lot of value in layering in our partner campaigns. So a lot of the campaigns that we'll talk through in a little bit, you'll see the funnel phase is layered, identified as conversion, and that really is just to be able to output an offer and to make that conversion and drive that ultimate booking to your hotel or attraction. Again, as we go through this lower level, really just looking for those bookings, those arrivals in the destination. So I think the funnel is really fun for me to talk about as a media person, get really excited about. But I think it can, it can be just like a lot of slides and a lot of layers to the puzzle. But when you look at it as a little bit more of a linear approach, we know that not every consumer booking path is just like this. We know that every consumer has a very different path and how they're exposed to media and how they're making their purchasing decisions. But this path is really, at its kind of most basic form, an idea of how we are deploying our media and how we're kind of hoping that consumers are engaging with and ultimately converting. So you read it left to right, and you're really looking for, again, aligning with that inspiration phase, the consideration, intent, ultimately a consumer is end market. So when we go left to right, your placements on the left are going to be those very upper funnel tactics, video, out of home, print, places where we're outputting our brand destination messaging. As we go more toward the middle of the funnel, middle of the path here, we're looking for more co-op placements to be involved, looking for travel sites to layer in, programmatic, and then ultimately when someone's booking, become very tactical with more site placements, mobile placements. Even when someone is in market, we'll talk a little bit more about some placements that we are offering in the co-op campaign this year, where we're looking for attractions to output messaging to just lure people around the destination to increase the spend in market. So very excited about this path, and I think it's a really important kind of foundation for everything that we'll talk about and that we're talking about with the VCB, but we'll talk about throughout the coming year as we book co-op campaigns as well. In terms of brand strategy, the destination strategy, what we're doing as a larger entity, even on this big screen, I think it's probably a little bit of an eye chart, but it will be available online afterward. But the way to read this grid is really by the travel period, so that first row at the top. One of the things that might look a little bit different in the past, we've talked about 3 campaigns running throughout the year: winter, spring, summer, and then fall. This year we're breaking out spring, summer into 2 separate campaigns. And the reason that we're doing this is that the person who's visiting in spring and the person who's visiting in summer has a little bit of a different booking path. We know that this is a little bit of a different market. They're booking at a different rate. They just have some different characteristics that we want to be able to target specifically when we're outputting our media campaigns. And so from an efficiency perspective, we can be a lot more we can deploy a lot more efficient and targeted messages if we break out the campaigns separately. So as we go down this, I'll just go through winter as kind of the example and not through every single season. But just the way to read this chart is the specific travel period. So in this case, winter. The travel period is when someone is actually going to be in market. So when that consumer will be staying with us and visiting our destination. So for winter, that time period is December through mid-March. We know based on a lot of the data that we subscribe to, a lot of our research, that consumers who are visiting in the winter are booking approximately 64 days out. So if you go across the chart, you see it varies a little bit. Summer gets up to 69 days, so that's our farthest out that we're looking at. So not a massive fluctuation, but it's enough that we just want to make sure that we're flighting our media accordingly and taking that into consideration with every single season, even that slight variance. So we know that consumers who are visiting in winter are booking approximately 64 days out. So that means that if you are coming in early December, you are starting to make those bookings in early October. So the planning booking window in this case would be October through December. And again, like we talked about at the beginning, we really want to make sure that our media is not just in market that moment that someone is wanting to make their booking. We want to be in market when consumers are first thinking about they want a vacation. Maybe they don't even know quite yet they want a vacation. We want to inspire that interest in a vacation and make sure that they're thinking of us and that we're top of mind. So we want to make sure that our media is running about 30 days out from our consumers' planning windows. So in this instance, they're going to make their booking in October. We want to be in market in early September. So really just kind of backing out at every step here. They're going to visit in early December. They're going to start booking in early October. So in early September, we want our messaging to be out in front of them. Just making sure that we're lined up accordingly at every step. From an audience perspective, you'll see the audiences outlined from a primary and secondary standpoint across the seasons. In winter, for example, our primary target is couples, our secondary target is families. So it'll just kind of flip-flop a bit throughout the seasons. And then from a messaging perspective, there's quite a few outlined up here and be available afterward as well. But these are the types of topics that we are aligning with as a destination throughout each season, the types of content that we'll be pushing out to consumers.
And I also just really wanted to say, really quickly that we really did take all of the guesswork out of this for you guys in terms of the co-op program. So any program you see in the portal when you're ordering, if it says winter, it's going to affect that travel time period. However, it's going to run this October to December, for example. So just go based on the season. That is the actual period you're trying to affect travel for. Okay. Do you guys have any questions before we get into some more stuff? Good. Okay, great. So why should you participate in the co-op program? Research capabilities. The VCB has a wealth of data sources. We use this information to determine our placements, our audiences, our vendors, our markets, the ability to participate in those programs, again, that have high minimum investments, greater exposure through enhanced advertising reach with the VCB's brand buys, brand recognition, so you're aligned with an established, trusted brand already. And that's why most of our placements start with VCB messaging. It also gives you guys, gives the consumer a sense of place for your business. Creative services, so all you guys have to do is submit materials, images, copy, a URL. We take that information and put it into pre-approved templates that we've been working on with the VCB throughout the year. Reporting, you can of course track your digital reporting, but the VCB tracks all your digital placements, and we provide both monthly and full campaign metrics at the end of each month. And savings, I just like to call this out because truly the whole goal of the co-op program for the VCB is to bring business to you guys. They don't make a penny off of the co-op program. Every single dollar that they get from your orders goes right back into their marketing plan. Okay. All right, so we're going to start getting into the actual channels that we call them, traditional or print media. This is going to be our biggest strategic shift for next fiscal, and we're going to start with some new programs.
Thanks, Eve. So as we go through each of these sections, we'll kind of start with an overview and not get into the exact details. I won't read line by line of everything that's on the screen. There's a lot of information in here, and it'll all, again, be on the portal. So we really want to focus our discussion right now on the strategic shifts that we're recommending and the strategy that's going into each section. So that's what you'll hear us talk most about. If there's any questions, we can, of course, answer them at any point. From a print perspective, I think print is a really exciting place to still be in. I think you hear a lot in the trades that, circulation is dropping, but I think it's still a very important, very powerful place for our media campaigns to be a part of. I think one of the biggest things that we're looking at doing in the coming year is just really evolving how we approach print. So, really looking to print as a place to really spark a lot of interest, a lot of, even going beyond introduction to the brand. We've had great print strategy in place for a number of years. So really just evolving the type of presence that we have in book. So going beyond, a full page, a full page ad. So that full page or spread ad that you've seen for many years, we're really evolving that to a more native approach. You'll see on this example, this is the type of placement that we're moving toward. It's definitely not a full page ad anymore. It's more of a native article style approach to our placements. So it's labeled special partner section, special advertising section. It's labeled advertising. It just has a very native look and feel. As you're flipping through the magazine, and I have a couple of examples if you want to see a hard copy. It looks like the content in the magazine. It looks exactly like the content that they're producing as part of their editorial. So it has a lot more appeal to a reader. When we think about how we layer in co-op partners to this, on this example, look at that pointing, left-handed. You'll see over there in the kind of orange section, we would turn that type of section into a partner resource directory. So the content will be, broadly about the destination. The imagery will be, larger destination focused. But we'll have a section at the end of the article that is a partner resource directory, where it's basically, here's how to bring your Lee County adventure to life. And it's a resource listing of the different, hotels, attractions that want to participate in this co-op opportunity. Basically, things to do, where to stay while you're in destination. So again, it has a very native look and feel. It's not, it doesn't say promoted right next to your listing, but it's clearly a native approach to the campaign. So this style of advertising will apply throughout the print section, the print opportunities. So I won't show the same example 4 more times, but this style of native article is what we'll be doing moving forward. We're really excited about this. I think from a dorky media perspective, we don't see a lot of other destinations doing this. When we start looking at competitive sets, we still see a lot of the full page ads. We do see a lot of value in that. But when we look at the comp set and what our competing destinations are doing, they're not doing this. They're doing kind of the same old thing. And I think this is a really exciting way for us to get our messaging out and appeal to readers who may or may not be familiar with us in a new and unique way. So we'll have 4 different partners that we're offering up this co-op opportunity for. All of the content that's featured in those placements will be based on the publisher sending a staff to the destination and gathering all that content, gathering all those images. So all of that will be produced by the publisher and turned into a native article. It'll run in 4 different magazines. The first is Travel and Leisure. Travel and Leisure, it's a monthly travel magazine. It reaches a very affluent audience. And I think that the content will really appeal to them in terms of the look and feel of the article. I think it's very much what consumers are expecting from Travel and Leisure and the content that they're outputting. This campaign will run in the April issue. And again, our co-op partners will be featured as in that co-op directory listing.
So in the example that you showed, when you say the word listing here, do you mean also with a complimentary photograph that might have branding on it, or is it just the name?
So it's going to be the name, and it's going to be some copy points, and then contact information for your business. But exactly right, we're eliminating the photos this year and for those listings.
Are you writing the articles?
No, the publishers will write it in the tone that is native to the publication. So a Travel and Leisure editorial staff member will write that content. And you'll see this for each of the next 3 publishers as well. Someone on their staff writes all of the content. We obviously get to approve it. We get to approve all the imagery, everything that's output and ultimately published, we have approval on. But it's written in the tone that readers that are kind of used to consuming content in, which makes it have even a more native, greater appeal to the reader. What other questions? Midwest Living is the next one. Midwest Living, I know, has been a co-op campaign opportunity for many years. We've seen a ton of value in Midwest Living. As many of you know, it's a regional publication, heavily obviously distributed in the Midwest, but there is a great amount of circulation even throughout the nation. We see Midwest Living as a really great way to align with their editorial focus on travel. They, of course, have a lot of focus as well on travel, home, lifestyle. So really just a great place for our destination to be a part of. That native article will live in the January, February issue. And then you may also remember we've done the insert with them in the past as well. We will pick up that similar digest style insert for the March, April issue next year too. So that will be a similar placement that we've done in the past. Parents Magazine, this is a placement that we've been able to run in as a destination, but not in the co-op program previously. Parents Magazine targets parents, pretty straightforward. They have a lot of great content for people looking, for advice and, content related to parenting. So really a great place for us to reach our family target. The native article will run in the April issue. And Southern Living, another one that we're all very familiar with. Southern Living, of course, having that great distribution throughout the South, but also throughout other parts of the country as well. But that native article will run in the April issue there too. Yes?
Will these articles have live links out to the VCB website that can be tracked and counted?
Yes, there is a digital campaign that supports all of this as well. So all of those placements will be destination placements linking back to our site, but we will be tracking all of that.
So our listing won't track back to our site?
In print.
In the print listing.
Right, okay.
Right.
But in the digital it would?
Right.
Per question.
There,
The digital extension, if we're listed, it comes to us.
right, anything digital would link off to your site. Any other questions? Yes?
Is there a reason for a lot of these seem to be around April. Is there a reason why you're targeting that February, April time period for the print?
Yeah, really just looking to impact, kind of late spring or early summer into that window and aligning with that need period. Other questions?
Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, so getting into VCB email, this is using the VCB's first-party data, people who have signed up to receive the e-newsletter, get more information about the destination. I'm actually, before we get into offering some often asked, we offer this free program where we submit monthly leads, or weekly actually, to you guys if you sign up for it. I'm asked why we're not able to give you guys email addresses as well, and that is because the consumers are asking for information about the destination as a whole, not individual partners. So due to privacy laws, we actually cannot legally share that information. However, because they're asking about the destination, we can add those leads to the VCB's database. So if you want to reach those people electronically, these emails are the way to do it. Okay. Our first offering, our monthly e-newsletters, this is a staple of our co-op plan. They do run monthly. However, we do segment the database in our shoulder season. So from April through September, we're going to have in-state and Florida resident and out-of-state. However, for the rest of the year, it's going to our full database. Our in-state newsletter, again, since it's running in that shoulder period that we know we see a lot of in-state visitors, that's a really great option for our attraction partners. You're actually going to see that attraction option designation at the bottom of a lot of our slides. All of our programs work well for our accommodation partners, but the ones that actually list attraction are the ones that are going to serve our attraction partners well as well. Okay, so these are still performing really well for us. We're beating our benchmark for open rate. We're averaging 130 partner clicks per email. This is steadily increasing month over month and is a 2% increase over last year. So these are definitely performing well for us, and we're definitely a success, obviously, which is why we're keeping these on the plan. We're also testing out moving the partners up and down in the emails. So these are the partner listings right now. We're testing moving them within the template, and we also just in July switched to a horizontal layout for the partners, which you'll see in just a second.
Do the partner placements in those need to stay as a static photo? Or
Yes.
your content I see as tarpon fishing in action, which is a video?
Right, these are static. Yeah. Okay. Also, a staple of the plan are leisure welcome emails, our quarterly emails, leisure and bridal. So our leisure is going to any new signups for our e-newsletter requesting information about our destination. We send them a series of 3 for both of these, just welcoming them to the destination. Our leisure is averaging about 10,000 sends per quarter, and our bridal's at about $250. This is a much more niche audience, obviously, so our price is reflected in that at $100 for the bridal for that same 3 months. And then here's an example of the horizontal layout that we just switched over to. So you'll see that in emails going forward. Leisure continuing to perform, beating the benchmark for open rate. We're averaging about 30 partner clicks. I know that doesn't seem high, but we have to remember these are going to a smaller audience than, say, our monthly e-newsletters, because these are just new leads throughout the quarter. However, both of these numbers, our average clicks and then partner percentage per partner, is increasing every single month. We're also probably going to be sending these to more than like 10,000 people coming up because our database is continuing to grow. And then this is, yes?
On the database.
Yes.
How long do you keep there after they go on there and engage with you? How long does that contact stay in your database?
So we keep all our contacts, but we do scrub our lists throughout the year. So we'll send emails. Do you still want to get these emails? And then we'll scrub it. Yeah. Yes.
For those partner clicks, is that for each individual partner, or is that for the partners as a whole?
This is each individual partner. 33% is all partners as a whole for the whole email.
Is the partner click percentage, is that what you're considering the click-through rate?
The partner click percentage on this slide, is for the entire email. So in your reporting, you'll have a CTR specifically for your business. Any other questions here? Okay, our partner dedicated emails. This is one of our most popular co-op programs. This features one partner and the VCB. We send it to about 1/3 of the database. Again, this is probably going to increase next year, but we're guaranteeing the 100,000 sends. Basically, you just submit 3 to 5 copy points. You do have to submit an offer. You submit your image and click through. The VCB writes the content for you, sets it up in layout, and then submits to you for approval. They do have right of refusal on the images, of course, is going to their database, right? I don't think they've changed it out this year at all. So you guys are submitting great images. Again, you do have to submit an offer. These sell out like super, super quickly. And as you can see, they're performing really well for us, averaging per partner 541 clicks per email. Now, this is an average. I did want to call out that for Q2 of this year, each partner averaged 1,300 clicks per email. So these are great, great investment. Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes.
541 clicks. How many people were emailed?
100,000. Yes. Okay. And then this is a brand new program for us this year. This is what we're calling a partner focus email. So if somebody has engaged with any of the previous 3 welcome emails that they received, they're going to get this final email. This is going to be exclusively dedicated to the partners. So an offer is probably sound to include here. But again, because they've engaged with one of our previous emails, we already know that they're very interested in the destination. And this is, so they're very interested in the destination and already engaged with our content. We're only probably going to send about 200 emails per quarter. We'll see how that goes. This is our first placement, but we did price it accordingly at $100 for those 3 months. Okay. And then very similar look and feel as our VCB emails are our paid media emails. Leona's going to go through those. I think we're starting with a brand new program, yes.
So bridal emails, a really exciting one for us to offer as a new program. Bridal Guide has been a longtime partner from a destination perspective, and the sales team has seen a lot of success with the leads that we're able to generate through our destination partnership. So very excited to offer a dedicated email program in the coming year. There'll be 3 drops, and it all again aligns with the bigger campaign that the destination is deploying, but very excited to offer this new Bridal Guide program. E-target emails, this is one that's been on the co-op offering for quite some time. We've seen a lot of success with e-target. They're basically just a database that people opt in to receive more information and more emails from. So continuing the campaigns that we've run successfully in the past. And this is a really great place for you to output an offer and really make a very kind of tactical message for our potential audience. When we look at quick successes here, we're seeing a really strong open rate, 24% versus the industry benchmark of 10%. So again, just really a lot of success with these campaigns, and look to repeat that in the coming year. When we look at the New York Times, Great Getaway emails have been really successful for us in the past as well. We have a larger campaign that we'll be deploying through the New York Times, and see this as a really great way to follow up with messaging related to our destination, specifically at the co-op level, and really try to inspire more consideration, intent, and ultimately conversion as well. This is a place where an offer maybe necessarily is not needed, so a really great place for both attractions and hotels to promote their offerings here. This is a very high-end consumer as well, so something to just keep in mind as you're developing your messaging for this campaign. There'll be 4 drops throughout the fiscal year, and again, just looking to repeat the successes that we've had this year in terms of open rate, 19% versus the 10% industry benchmark. Sherman's Travel, not a new offering this year, but one that we've seen great success with as well. Email is a really successful tactic for us in general, so see a lot of value in continuing all of these programs. We'll have 5 drops planned throughout the year. The themes are all listed here and will be outlined in the portal as well, but a really great way to align with specific timing and interest-based targeting as well. So this is a place, again, much like the New York Times, where an offer is not needed. Really want to apply or appeal more to that experience that you're able to offer a consumer. And a couple more stats on how great our campaigns have performed. That open rate, again, exceeding industry benchmark. Travel Spike email, another one that we've seen success with. Travel Spike will be dropping 2 emails in the coming fiscal year. This is a category that's a little bit different from the other email providers that we're offering. Travel Spike is really a network of travel sites. So this is a really great way for us to have appeal across a wide variety of travel sites, oftentimes a little bit smaller travel sites. So a really great place to output a deal, especially if your need periods align with that May and August window, and a really great place for us to see success there. Yes?
When would some of the creative for these things be due to you? Or would we be able to submit a lot of these?
Wonderful question. Yeah, so if you are buying, and I'll get into this at the very end, if you're buying into an October program, it's basically as soon as we approve those orders, we're going to need you guys to submit materials for those programs right away.
It's about a quarter out.
Yeah, about 2 months before is when we're asking. Some are a little longer. Print is definitely longer. Yeah. Yes.
Reporting on all these things. Do you provide it, or do we rely on our own internal, like Google Analytics or whatever, to see what's performing?
Yeah, so reporting will be at the very end, but yes, we absolutely do provide it monthly by placement and, by month and total campaign metrics as well. And I'll show you what that looks like as we get through.
And Elizabeth will mention it, but all of our reporting is inclusive of click-through and view-through reporting. So beyond what you can see in your own GA accounts, it's inclusive of what consumers are being served up and seen, but maybe not necessarily clicking on at that moment. So it's a little bit farther of a view than just what you're able to see through GA.
Sort of, if you buy into. Well, actually, no problem. Actually, so why don't you go through what we're going to offer, and then I'll talk about our reporting and inquiries.
Perfect. From a digital media perspective, we have 4 new categories that we'll be talking about as offerings for next year. So very excited to get into those right now.
Okay. So partner site tagging. So this is a free program. This is kind of what Alana's talking about being able to give you reporting beyond just click-through rate, actual inquiries or view-throughs to your site that was influenced by Beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel Media. So for this free program, we would basically send you sign up for it, we would send you a floodlight tag. It's just a piece of code that you would put on your homepage of your website. And when you do that, what we're able to do is provide you inquiries or view-throughs to your website based on all Beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel Media. So whether it's meetings, co-op, brand, anything. With the free program, you'll get one total number at the end of every month that tells you how many views were to your site based on our media. Now, a little bit different from this, and that adds additional components is, first let me just show you that from this partner site tagging, we had 20 partners sign up in fiscal year 18-19. We tagged their sites. We were able to attribute 250,000 view-throughs or inquiries to those sites for those 20 partners alone in to-date fiscal year. So again, similar to that is our partner site retargeting program in that you also have to have a floodlight tag placed on your site. But this is a paid program because there are additional components. The first is that we retarget visitors to your site. So if somebody's gone to your website, we will take your materials that you submit to us, build custom banners, and then serve those banners to people who have already visited your site. So an offer, anything that's upcoming, you'd want to put in there. What we also do with this, and Jessica, this kind of speaks to that. So basically, we can, so whereas with the free program, you're getting one number of inquiries for the entire month, with this program, we break it up by most of your co-op programs where we can. So this is actually the retargeting of this program. And this is why we say you can't really base the success of a program on click-through rate, because consumers aren't engaging with media in the same way. They're not necessarily clicking on an ad, but that does not mean they're not impacted by your ad, right? And here's kind of proof in the pudding. So on the retargeting banners for this partner, they had 33 clicks. However, because we have that floodlight tag placed in that same exact month, they also had over 2,500 view-throughs to their site. So with the floodlight tag, we can tell you those inquiries as well. If we don't have the floodlight tag placed, we can only give you that click-through rate. And then, again, we break them out by program. So this partner who was part of this retargeting also bought into a bridal placement. They had 85 clicks for June, let's say this is. However, they also had 175 inquiries or view-throughs to their site. So this has been a success for all of our partners, over 11.2 million impressions fiscal year to date. Again, that's only 20 partners that signed up. This is 25 with the retargeting. Over 62,000 direct site inquiries, and we just have to call out Southseas, always beating benchmarks. Over 24,000 inquiries, direct site inquiries to their website. They're always submitting dynamic imagery. They always have very strong offers. They're always aligning with VCB messaging. So again, they're always constantly beating the benchmark.
And what is a direct site inquiry? What constitutes that?
It's just a visit to your site.
A visit.
How often are we able to kind of update the creative? Are we able to change it?
Every season we change it out.
Every season?
Yep. Good.
Great. Thank you. Next up are premium partners, premium publishers. So premium publishers is really just our verbiage for, print publishers that we're aligning with from a brand perspective, a destination perspective, and we're extending that offering to co-op partners. So this is an exciting new opportunity for next year. Two partners that we're offering campaigns with, Garden & Gun, Smithsonian is on the next slide, but the premise is similar for both. We're running a larger destination campaign, and we'll be looking to layer in co-op placements, excuse me, on both publishers' websites that is surrounding the content that we're promoting or content that's related to the destination, potentially about competing destinations as well. So really excited for this opportunity. I think it makes our inspirational brand messaging a little bit more tactical, a little bit more, very much like that print campaign we talked about where it's, the native content and we're providing that resource directory within the article. Here's how to plan your vacation. It's the same concept digitally as well. We're surrounding relevant content with a more tactical message from a partner. So again, same concept applies to Smithsonian. Both are very, long-term partners that we run with from a destination perspective and seen a lot of success with. From a programmatic perspective, we have 4 campaigns this year, 4 offerings. Programmatic media, I think, is something that we've probably talked about for years. But programmatic media, I think, is also one that can get needlessly complicated very quickly. But at its core, it's really just aligning all of our targeting with the right person at the right time. So looking at those intent signals that a consumer is exhibiting online, what type of content they're consuming, what type of searching and booking actions they're making online, and placing all of our media accordingly based on that right person. So the same targeting concept applies to the next 4 campaigns. The first one that we'll talk about is Island Hopper. So really just aligning with consumers who might have an interest and a propensity to attend Island Hopper. This targeting would include a lot of different attributes, but would also include retargeting from the VCB site. This is one that a deal is required for. So very excited to kind of push out these offers and make the visit to the festival a very tactical one that we're promoting. We're just getting that campaign up and running now for this current fiscal year, but saw a lot of success last year and a lot of rationale for continuing into the next year as well. Our programmatic campaign on the bridal front, a little bit of a shift in terms of, I think, the timing a wee bit, but really looking to align with the larger brand campaign related to bridal. So timing syncs up nicely with those bridal emails as well, but looking to target brides who are planning destination weddings, perhaps honeymoons as well. So just running programmatically in the bridal space. We have seen a lot of success with existing bridal campaigns. We were able to deliver nearly 1 million impressions per partner and a large volume of site inquiries as well. A new and exciting campaign for the coming year is Travel Intenders. So these campaigns will reach consumers who are actively searching for and booking travel. We have some great partners who themselves have data partnerships with hotels and airline companies, so they are able to see when someone is going on to Marriott.com, for example, and searching for travel. So we're able to get a lot of information from those searches and understand the type of destination a consumer is interested in, the type of trip that they're planning. Are they traveling alone? Are they traveling with a spouse? Or are they traveling with a family, for example? So we're able to get really tactical with these campaigns. I think this is a really exciting campaign that we're offering, and I'm really excited to output very tactical messaging in these campaigns. I think this is going to be one that helps drives a lot of visitation and a lot of conversion for the entire destination.
Right, and I just wanted to say, so that is brand new. You're not going to see what you're used to seeing at those programmatic audience targeting, like affluent explorers, nature admirers, right? We're switching those over to those travel intenders. The audience ones are more prospecting, plays higher up in the funnel, so we're moving you guys down with these travel intenders.
And the final offering from a programmatic perspective is related to mobile. We've had a mobile beach geofencing campaign for the past, I think it started last year was the first year. But basically geofencing is just drawing a circle, a square, some sort of shape, a polygon around any sort of point of interest. So you're able to identify different points of interest, draw a circle around it, and then capture all of the mobile device IDs that enter that circle that you've drawn. So from a consumer perspective, you walk to a beach, you are automatically, that we geofence, and you're automatically put into our pool for retargeting purposes. From a targeting perspective, it's very appealing because we're able to identify people who are already making a certain type of behavior, a certain type of action, and then we're able to leverage it for targeting purposes.
Is that instant? How quickly are you
It's pretty quickly, yeah. It can be within milliseconds. Or we can also target them later. So depending on the strategy that we're outputting, it can be immediately retargeting or follow-up.
For geofencing, would
Yes.
you use this in conjunction with an out-of-home campaign in a feeder city like Manhattan or Chicago?
Oh man, I like you. Yes, we do that all the time. Yeah. These campaigns specifically are not deploying that type of strategy. The geofencing messaging that we output for like an out-of-home campaign would be brand messaging, not co-op messaging. So really, it's a little bit of a higher funnel action, trying to align with that inspiration still. So the first offering is the in-state beaches campaign. This is one that we're already doing and seeing success with, so picking that campaign up for next year as well. A couple of quick stats on this one: really strong click-through rate, a large number of inquiries driven to partner sites, so very excited to continue this into the next year. And
this one's big, guys. This one is big, something we've never done before. This is for our attraction partners only.
such a setup.
I'm sorry that this is off.
It's not limited, it's for any attraction?
It is for any attraction partner, yes. We're also going to let restaurants come in here. Alana will explain why what we're doing here.
So this campaign is a little bit different. So we're targeting people who we already know are vacationers in the destination. So we're able to identify, based on all of the geofencing that we just talked about, if a person is a resident, if they're driving into the market every day, maybe say they live in a different county and commute here daily for work, we're able to identify those patterns and pull those people out and not target them. So we're able to identify that, for example, I flew in yesterday from Kansas City. I am clearly a visitor, and I would be someone who would be up for targeting purposes. We're able to target people who are actually here in destination for vacation and drive them to different points of interest. So the reason this is attraction or dining only is we're making the assumption that you've already booked your hotel room and just outputting a message getting you to spend more in the destination and drive up that investment in market. Questions?
What kind of placements are these going to be in as far as
Yeah, a lot of the
apps and such?
Yep, a lot of the placements for this campaign would be in-app, so within applications. So if you're, say, on the CNN app or any sort of app that you might be navigating in, it's not necessarily buying that specific inventory, that specific site. It's finding that right person with whatever type of site that they're interacting with while they're in market. So I'm not going out and buying these 100 sites. I'm trying to find you as a visitor and wherever you're interacting on the internet with.
And we're, of course, able to exclude controversial sites. We can blacklist sites, so we're very cognizant of that. And somebody have a question? Yeah.
Who sets the areas of the geofence?
We work with our partner to do all of that. Yep.
You're saying anywhere in Lee County?
Yes.
Yeah, so basically in this case, it's just we circle the county or exactly with the county borders. Is there a question?
How many participants?
This one has 6, I believe, per part. Yeah. But we're doing each season, so there are 4 placements of 6.
Any other questions? It's an exciting one. Next up is Native. This is not a new campaign, but we're looking to evolve some of the content a little bit. So picking up our campaigns that we've done previously with Matador, we've seen a lot of success with these types of campaigns. Similar to the print that we just talked about, it's an article with partner inclusion. But really just looking to kind of tweak the content a little bit. You'll see the content here on the left is a little bit different than what we've done in the past, and just looking to evolve the types of articles that we're outputting to this audience. They've been very engaged with our content, and so with these campaigns, really just trying to drive time spent with the article, time spent on the page, and then ultimately content being shared out through social channels. Couple quick stats here. Time spent on articles in this June example was over 4 minutes, which is just a whopping amount of time for any consumer to spend in content. Pandora is a first to market, first to the destination partners this summer. So we're wrapping up that campaign now, getting our reporting in. But very excited to offer Pandora campaigns again for next summer. These are display and audio campaigns that will be running again next summer. And already seeing some really strong success numbers there. Click-through rate is far exceeding benchmarks. Very excited to report on that in terms of a success metric. OTAs, online travel agencies, these can be sites like Expedia, Travelocity, Orbitz. I'm sure you're very familiar with OTAs. But placements with OTAs, we're looking to just continue those, refine those campaigns a little bit. These campaigns would run throughout the fiscal year in seasonal increments, and see a lot of value in aligning with people who are searching for and booking travel to our destination or even looking and considering other destinations as well. A deal is strongly recommended for this placement. This is a place where we'll be targeting people who are actively in a booking channel, so want to make sure that our messaging is lined up with that as well. Yes?
Can I, back to the Pandora real quick.
Sure.
Is there a specific, are we able to get specific genre pointed in the campaigns, or is it kind of just a broad general between all types of genres?
It's a little bit broader. Again, we're trying to reach that right person in whatever they're listening to. So we do see a lot of stats that, I think about You know, my friends, my family, myself, the type of music you're listening to in the morning is probably different than what you listen to midday, and probably different than what you're listening to at night while you're making dinner with your family, for example. So not necessarily aligning so much with we just want to go with country. We want to reach you as that right user who we know has a propensity to visit. TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor is a really fun one for us right now as a media group to monitor. They're really changing the look and feel of their sites, becoming more of a social feed. So with that transition is a lot of transition on the advertising side and the types of offerings that are even available to advertisers. So a lot of changes Elizabeth mentioned already, no more listings in terms of co-op offerings. But I think what's really exciting in terms of the offerings that we'll have available next year is the banner opportunities. I think these are very successful campaigns that we've had from a destination perspective ongoing, and we just want to extend that to the partners as well. See very successful click-through rate, a lot of inquiries driven to site. A new opportunity for next year on the digital front is Travel Spike. Again, Travel Spike, we have an email opportunity with them. We already talked about, so that network of travel sites, and just see a lot of value in outputting display campaigns throughout the fiscal year. So this is one that you can buy in seasonally and promote an offer ongoing.
Okay. Any questions here before we move on to social? Great. Okay, Mackenzie's just going to quickly go over our opportunities. You could do that or that, whatever you like.
That's what I feel. Okay, I'm going to go over these pretty quickly. I will go over these in boot camp, and we can go into greater detail. If you're not staying for boot camp, that's okay. You can always reach out to Elizabeth, and I can answer those questions as well. I think the biggest thing that is different from last year to this year, last year we had Facebook-only placements and Facebook and Instagram dual placements. We are removing Facebook placements and just doing dual placements for all ad sets we're doing for co-op this year. And that's really just to optimize, again, to Elena's point, we want to reach that target audience, that traveler, where they're interacting and where they're engaging or spending their time. That could be Instagram, that could be Facebook. Facebook is able to, figure that out for us and do all the hard work themselves, so we really want to make sure we're hitting both apps and spending time in both audiences. Bless you. So we have 4 placements this year. The first one is the website retargeting. This will run from the VCB page. And again, we're hitting all of those people who are already visiting our site with your specific partner messaging. This is a single image ad. Something else to remember for all of these placements, they all run for 1 month. If you're going to run for 2 months in a row, 3 months in a row, whatever you feel like, I would recommend submitting a different image per month just so that that audience doesn't experience ad fatigue. Carousel ads, so a big update is this is moving away from the VCB page and going to your page. This allows you guys to kind of tell a broader story. You have more than one image. You can make kind of a morning today with the 3 or 4 images you choose, but really kind of highlight more of your offering to that targeted audience. This is a custom audience that's built off our database, so this isn't directly to our database, but we're taking people who have a lot of similar interests and similar behaviors online and targeting those people. Okay, here's a highlight. So again, just talking about carousels, you'll see this is from our page instead of the partner page. That's changing this year, but really strong click-through coming in about half of the average that we would like to see, and over 5,000 clicks to that website. A lot of impressions come with these carousel ads as well. Slideshow ads, so if I'm remembering correctly, this was new last year, so we're continuing it this year. This allows you to create a video even if you don't have those video assets. So picking 4 or 5 of those really strong images that you guys do have, we will then create a video ad with that and run that on your partner page. So this is really coming from a really large audience of people who have interacted with the VCB's content. So we're out there, we're always trying to reach those new audiences. We're doing that, with a lot of ad placements we do. We're collecting those users who commented on those posts, shared those posts, liked those posts, watched a video, grouping them into an ad set, and then retargeting them with your messaging. Here's an example of a slideshow ad that performed really well. This got 6,000 clicks to the website. And when I say clicks, they're not just randomly clicking. They are going directly to your website and spending time on your landing page. 15-cent cost per click, that is crazy, crazy low. Amazing. So again, really focusing on what you have to offer, not directly showcasing, you're offering, but showcasing the experience that these potential travelers could have. This is a new one, so this is just a single image placement similar to the website retargeting. This one is targeted towards our current database, so we're reaching all of those people who get our newsletter and targeting them with your messaging. It's really important to have a strong image for this because, you know, it's that one image. These are great for deals too. It has a strong CTA of you can do book now, learn more. So those are kind of two of the most recommended CTAs, but really good if you have a specific deal you do want to promote. Okay. And that's all. I did it fast.
Thank you. So just getting into travel trade, we'll go through these pretty quickly, just point out that what we're running for print versus more integrated packages with maybe emails. We're going to start with meetings and then get into travel agent. For meetings, you're going to notice our new print campaign, our new meetings campaign throughout. You're also going to notice that we are doing like the spreads and the full pages with the thumbnails here, and that's because these meeting planners, these travel agents, they need that more utilitarian information. They need to know what's available in destination to actually consider us. So you're going to want to talk about your meeting spaces, any offers you have for planners or travel agents. And again, we'll start with just our meetings.
Great. Incentive Magazine is new this year. It is a publication targeting those incentive planners. So a new one that we're looking to offer and very excited about. FSAE Source is also a new publication that we'll be working with next year. FSAE is really targeting those in-market, in Florida association planners. It's a really exciting audience for us to be reaching, especially as we look for the destination offering to evolve, but we'll have a print and a dedicated email offering with this vendor. Quick overview of all of the placements is a great look back whenever you're going through this on the portal later. Florida Trend reaches a wide variety of Florida business executives. We have a print campaign that we'll be offering in the coming year. Successful Meetings Prints, again, just reaching that meeting planner. We have a great print offering in the spring that's focused on Southeast meetings, very targeted opportunity. North Star Meetings Group. So North Star is a publisher group. It's inclusive of Successful Meetings, Incentive Meetings and Conventions, a lot of great meeting planner reach throughout this group. We're able to target across that group from an email perspective and deploy dedicated emails. Meetings Today, not a new offering, but see a lot of value in working with Meetings Today ongoing. We'll have a print campaign and a dedicated email campaign running throughout the fiscal year. And a recap of Meetings Today. LinkedIn is one that I'm very excited about personally. We looked at the stats at the beginning of the presentation, and we know that meeting planners are really engaged with LinkedIn. So this campaign aligns with the destination campaign as well, and it's a really great opportunity to reach that targeted self-identified meeting planner in a place where they're looking for content. A new opportunity from a programmatic perspective, but programmatically targeting meeting planners. So we know that programmatic has been very successful in the past and really want to go after that right person, whether it be a consumer we talked about earlier or in this case a meeting planner. Just a couple of successes, much like the successes we've talked about earlier, but our emails are consistently meeting and exceeding benchmarks.
Okay, and now we're getting into travel agent. So these will use our brand campaign, in this case Islandology. However, we tweak the copy to speak to travel agents. You guys should be doing the same, of course, offering any packages you have or incentives for them as well in your copy.
And we'll clip through these pretty quickly as well. Travel agent is really reaching that agent who works out of their home. We'll have a couple of print magazine issues running throughout the fiscal. Recommend is a new campaign for us. We'll have a placement in their April issue. But again, just another campaign really targeted on reaching that travel agent where they're looking for industry-related content. Travel Weekly is one that we've had great success with ongoing. It's an ongoing publication reaching those agents. We'll have print and dedicated emails running throughout the fiscal year. A recap of those offerings. Travel Agent Magazine is new. Travel Agent reaches travel agents. Pretty straightforward in the targeting they offer, but we'll have a print and a dedicated email offering with this campaign. And again, much like consumer and then meeting planners we just talked about, a programmatic opportunity targeted toward travel agents. And more success. Oh,
This is
international. I'm so excited to pass it off to Steph. Get her up here. International co-op. A couple shifts on the international front for the coming year. Really excited to evolve the approach from an international perspective as well. The first placement is one that you've consistently seen, essentially in America. This is a print placement. See a lot of value in continuing that to the coming year. The biggest shifts that you'll see from an international perspective are timing and markets. So much like we've done domestically, looking at how consumers are searching for and booking travel within the United States, we're doing that same thing internationally. So we know that every market is different. Consumers are using media, making travel decisions different in every single country. So we're really lining up our timing of our campaigns based on how consumers in that market are searching for and booking travel and ultimately arriving in the destination. So you'll see those timing notes throughout the portal especially. It's summarized at a very high level on these slides, but if you have any questions about the timing, we can absolutely talk about that as well. So much like the travel intender campaign that we talked about domestically, we have the same offering internationally. So customized to each market, each international market, our 4 core markets, we'll have flights reaching people in, for example, Germany, who are searching for and booking travel. So a very efficient way to output an offer to someone in a specific market. TripAdvisor, the same concept applies internationally again as it does domestically. So running display banners targeting people who in those specific countries are searching for travel and looking for recommendations and content on TripAdvisor. One important note is in Germany, we do offer translation of partner copy so that those placements run in German on the German portal. And the final international online travel agencies, those OTA campaigns. So again, similar to the consumer domestic approach, making sure that we're targeting international consumers in the same way and flighting all of those campaigns by market at the right time to reach them when they're searching for travel. Perfect. Sales co-op.
Thanks, Jill.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jill Vance, Director of Sales, and I'll be going over the co-op trade show events for the meeting market. There we go. And in the interest of time, I'm only going to hit the new shows. So we'll be attending the Connect Medical Show, which is one of our vertical target markets for group next year. Also, we'll be participating in client events and conducting meeting calls in both Philadelphia and New York City. And the Florida counter, although it is not a new show, I just want to mention it for clarification purposes. To be clear, you must register and pay for your booth through Visit Florida, not the VCB. There are 2 reasons that we have this on our co-op, and the first reason is so we know that you'll be attending. Erin typically adds palm trees or carpeting and other decor for the destination so we all have a cohesive look. And the second reason we ask you to do this is to remind you when you purchase your booth through Visit Florida that you ask to be close to the beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel's booth so you can benefit from that decor. Another new show is RCMA Emerge. RCMA is the world's largest faith-based events association conference. Some more new shows. Global Pharmaceutical and Medical Meeting Summit. Senior meeting management professionals from the life sciences, medical, and healthcare industries will be in attendance. Also, Your Military Reunion Connection Show. This is an appointment-based reverse trade show with pre-qualified meeting planners. And finally, new for the meeting planner co-op, Erin will be conducting a client event and sales calls for meeting planners in Atlanta. And just real quick, for the co-op trade shows and sales missions for the consumer and travel agent teams market, a new show this year, Jen will be attending the Illinois Bridal and Weddings Expo. Since Chicago is one of our top feeder markets for destination weddings, we thought we would give this show a shot and see what kind of leads we get. Also, we'll be adding a third Florida travel agent sales mission in the north central region of Florida, and we will be conducting sales calls to travel agencies and AAA offices. And I'll turn it over to Stephanie for the International Sales Co-op.
Thank you, Jill. All right, now international sales, as you can see on the slide here, I have them grouped by country, so you can easily go to those depending on the source market that you're interested in. Just want to point out a few here. The one in Canada this year we're adding new is Calgary. If you may ask, like, why this market? So Calgary is a new market that we're targeting in Canada, but important, we're doing it in a partnership with WestJet. And also, breaking news since yesterday, I just got the news from WestJet that they're actually adding another flight weekly, a second flight from Ottawa, and another flight from Toronto, going up from 10 to 11 flights per week, starting this winter on December 15th. So we want to partner with them and make sure everybody knows about not only us, but everybody in the room. One of the things I want to point out as you look at those and as you go over the next 20 days through the co-op portal, there's two columns here. One is the number of partners and then the cost. Number of partners is very important. If you are interested in actually traveling overseas with us and attend these shows here, we do limit those. So if you are interested, mark your calendar. It's 10:30 on the 20th of August. You want to be there and click, right?
I'm giving it away.
Sorry. Oops, I just spoiled this. But no, just because in the past we've had people who said, well, I really wanted to go, and just for logistics, it doesn't really work if we bring 10 people with us. So if you are interested, make sure that you have all the answers you need before that date. And also similarly to cost, what Jill already mentioned, the same applies here. But I just want to point out one thing. So ITB is one of our biggest shows in Germany, happening every year in Berlin. Just so you see how the VCB brings value for you to attend and make things a little bit easier as we assist you with everything. So this show, if you were to go with Visit Florida on your own, the cheapest entry-level participation is $2,750. So for $800, you get a headache-free turnkey booth, and you have no additional fees. So just keep that in mind. For the UK, I just want to point out, backed by popular demand is our sales mission. Save that date. Is April 27th through May 1st. This year we're adding we're adding Dublin to London. One of the shows that in the past you as partners, and I know a few of you in the room have done this with us in the past, USA and Icebergs is a show in the Netherlands. You as partners have the opportunity to do brochure distribution, which is at $100. But this year I just want to point out that the VCB will also be doing brochure distribution only. So you will be co-distributed together with our guides. The next ones here, these are all global focused. What I mean is they're actually in the US, they're not overseas, but you have the opportunity for lesser amount to travel to these shows and be able to target a worldwide audience of buyers. Some of these I want to point out here, similar to what Jill said. The ones that have 2 stars next to them, the $0 means for Connect Marketplace, for example, that you don't have any fee to the VCB to pay, but you do have a fee with the show organizer to participate. But why, in addition to what we already pointed out, why it is important for us to know that you are intended to go? Because for a show like Connect Travel, we as a VCB have negotiated special rates, meaning if myself plus 4 of you are attending this show, I can guarantee over $700 worth of saving for your registration. So you do not want to sign up with the organizer and then let me know afterwards that you're excited to go to the same show as I am, because then you've lost that savings that we could have guaranteed. So just be open and share with us where your intentions are in going. Last thing I'm going to point out is La Cita. This is hosted by a show focusing exclusively on the Latin American market. It is held next year in Naples, and that has 2 advantages for us. We will be the pre and post official show host. So if you are planning on attending the show, you will see 2 options on the co-op portal. One at $0 means you have no cost to me, but you have to show up, register with the show directly, starting at $1,800. Or you, especially if you're a first-time attendee, if you're wanting to tap into the Latin American market, or you may not know a lot about it, or you may not be fluent in Spanish, this is your opportunity. $250, that's all I'm charging you. You will be sharing the booth, the table, and my appointments with me. So I'll be able to assist you, translate, and do anything I can for you if you attend the show. And an added value that gives you the exclusive participation in the pre and post FAMs. So you'll be automatically looped into this FAM, so you get extra exposure there with buyers when you participate in the FAM. And I know this was really fast, so these are our details. You can reach Jill and I whenever you need. Again, you have 19 days and a few hours, so ask all your questions you have in that time to be ready for it. And then I'll give it back to Elizabeth.
Thank you. So I'm sorry, guys, I know we're running a little bit long, so I want to see if anybody has any questions before they may have to go or out before. Anybody?
How many brochures do you distribute at the trade shows?
Brochures.
Brochure distribution, it very much depends on the show. That one that I mentioned specifically, brochure, we ask you to maybe submit about 200, 250, because there's a trade component, meaning you're going to reach travel agents, but there's also 2 days which are consumer focused, so a little bit of both.
Yes.
Liz, are you guys looking into doing any digital components with video eventually for co-ops? Because we talked about at the beginning that video is kind of dominating, and it's still a lot of still imagery in addition to the slideshows. Are we looking for video eventually, maybe next year?
Yeah, videos, it is one of my favorite things. I think video at large is becoming something that consumers, of course, are more and more engaged with. I think our perspective right now is that video is a great place for the brand. It's a great place for the big, large format imagery, and it right now is layered in just from a brand perspective. I do think that would evolve. One of the biggest considerations, though, is quality of video content and having content that is right on par with what consumers are expecting. So I think that's one of our biggest points right now, but it is something that we constantly talk about and are looking to find solutions for.
Okay, so again, we'll just get into a few housekeeping items. Reporting, you can access your reporting 2 ways on the co-op portal. One is by month. You simply log in and click on your reports tab, and that will bring up every single month which you've had placements for. That'll bring up all of the placements in that month, as you can see in that second screenshot. So as I said before, we offer monthly reporting. So at the end of July, we just submitted June reporting. So you'll get it at the end of the following month for that month. And then if the campaign has ended in that month, you'll see the total campaign columns filled out. So that's so you don't have to go back through all your months where this ran and add everything up for yourselves. That's done for you. If the campaign has not ended yet, just how the portal's set up and its functionality, we'll still have those columns, but there'll be zeros in there until the campaign's over. Then you can also access by placement, so this will just bring up the one program you're interested in viewing. You'll have each report by month. The one up top will be the latest, and if the campaign ended, that will be the one that will include your total campaign metrics as well. And if you do have a floodlight tag and we can provide inquiries or view through information to you, that'll be in your comment section. Okay, just very quickly getting into assets. So again, we know that we should be aligning messaging with the VCB's brand, right? So in the fall and winter, if you buy a TripAdvisor placement, know that will most likely be marketing to couples, so you want your copy and your images to align with that. Family OTA placement in spring or summer, OTA placement, you'd want to run family messaging and imagery. Your print URL should be short and sweet. That's to encourage consumer recall. Once they don't have the print ad in front of them, you want them to be able to remember them. If you want to track and have a longer URL, you can consider vanity URLs, but again, it shouldn't be like a bit.ly, like BITXYZ. It should be something a vanity, an actual vanity URL for them to remember. For digital, they can be any length. You guys can track. Again, we're always tracking, and just be sure that you're clicking through to the relevant content. So if you have a specific offer and that offer's on your webpage, on your website, definitely make sure that your click-through is going to that offer. All right, and image assets. You just want to make sure that you're submitting dynamic imagery, not something that's generic that could really be anywhere, right, as these two pictures are. For social, you want to make sure those are natural, organic images as well. But here are some examples of some great partner submissions this year. These all perform super well, both inland, coastal properties, doesn't matter where you're located, as long as you're speaking to the benefits of your business. Okay, and for specs, just as in previous years. Sorry, is that?
You've reached the maximum time.
Oh, is that okay? As we've done in previous years, you're able to submit up to 4 images for your digital placements, and that is so we don't have to do as much cropping on your images, not because we don't want to, but you might have something in your image that you want to show and you don't want us to crop out, right? So if you have a long skinny banner or a long thin banner, you'll be able to submit images that fit that aspect ratio. They're not 100% solidified, but they're very close to actual. You know, we're constantly updating creative, so we can't give you them for the entire year. But the specs in the system will minimize the cropping, and of course, you can only submit 1 image if you'd like. Digital copy, you can submit copy for your calls to action. However, sometimes we will amend or omit that in favor of a brand CTA. And submissions and approvals, you will get a reminder email a week before materials are due and the day materials are due. We do ask that you please do submit by that due date. We have to put in all creative together to get laid out, so we could hold up other partners who have already submitted if it's not by the due date. You don't have to wait for those emails. You can always go into your ordered programs tab, click on waiting on materials, and all programs that are still waiting will pop up. Approvals, again, we do ask for these within 72 hours, so we're not holding up any other partners that have approved, and so that we can meet our due dates with our vendors. You'll receive an email when creative's ready for your review. If you have any changes, you could do it right within the portal. There are times where I'll email you guys for quicker turns, and you're always very accommodating, understanding. Thank you very much for that, because sometimes we do run into those issues. All right, so next step. So the buy-in will be on Tuesday, August 20th at 10:30 a.m. exactly. We know that a vast majority of our programs sell out within that first minute. So you're really going to want to take these 19 days to review in the portal. The whole plan will be on a PDF as well on the industry site that you could look at in one spot. Review, save your orders, so then on the 20th at 10:30 a.m. you could get to that last screen in the portal and simply hit submit at that exact time. You do have to be registered for the co-op portal in order to order. So if you don't have a login, please do contact me by the 14th and we'll get you set up. I'm here for any questions you ever have, of course. This is my contact information. Again, this will be on LeeVCB, so you'll have it there too. You're just going to go to leevcb.com, sales and marketing, marketing support, 1920 co-op advertising plan. Thanks, guys. Any questions? Yeah. Thank you.